Okay, so today we're going to make something even further that I do where every night I go to sleep. It also helps you with headaches and something else. Okay, but I will make that separate video because I will explain the theory to that. Now, this is for radiation or anything that absorb, okay, through your cell phones, to cell towers, to blah 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 blah. Yes, tinfoil hat going to be so popular, and tinfoil hat's gonna be reality. Funny thing is, they've been making fun of tinfoil hat for a long time. And guess what? Funny thing is, it's coming reality. And guess what? For the people who wear them, gonna have the last laugh. I will explain the simple concept of this, okay, so you can understand how electricity works. If you want to see how a battery works, and it's pretty much the same principle, I will link a video here later in the video here, and you can actually watch the concept, and it's pretty much the same principle. How electron works. As you already know, electron attracted to water and electron attracted to metal. And that's how they were able to come up with a battery, because they'd be able to fit the electron in here. And it's pretty much the same thing. But grounding and tinfoil hat cannot, it has to be the reverse. Okay? And no, I don't think anyone on YouTube have explained this like I do with this video about tinfoil hat. They didn't really go through the science of it. They didn't really go through the way I will explain it. The way I would tell you what kind of benefits, how it works. Okay? And most of the time, if you do just like this, it will never work. So if you're planning to do it just like what you see here, don't even bother. Because then you'll be one of those people saying that tinfoil doesn't work. Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you how tinfoil, the way I show you, it's going to work. Very important and very simple. Your hair can conduct electricity. Electron can transfer through your hair, and then it transfers to your skin. Okay, pretend this is your skin. Sort of like how when you have your hair raised up, or when you rub a pen, and then your hair will raise up. That's attracting to electrons. Okay, because hair is actually not conductive unless it attached to you. Okay? And yes, no one will explain this either. Just please remember that. If this hair was out on the ground by itself and it's sitting right there, electron won't attract to it. But if that hair is growing onto you because you are electricity, electricity will try to travel and grab onto, that's why the hair would raise up. But if you take that hair down, the hair no longer raised. A certain amount of time, the hair will no longer raised. Because your hair here, it's actually absorbing electrons. Here's another thing. I will be the first one in the world will tell you this. Hair actually grabbing the electron to charge your internal battery. Yes, you have an internal battery. I will make another video for that, and I will prove the theory for you. We already know that people have an internal battery, but they don't really going to explain it the way I will explain to you. So I will explain all that, and I hope you will If you find me somewhere and you see me somewhere, subscribe to it. And if you've seen these videos, I will teach you a lot of stuff that a lot of people have not teach you, or even a physics class will not teach you what I have learned, what I have experienced, what I have actually understand. Now, let's get back to here because that's a main focus on that. What happened is electron, positive and negative. Where does it come from? The sun. Okay? The sun is actually charging the earth. Believe it or not. Positive and negative electrons from the sun. There are other places that attach that also charging the earth, but the sun actually give us more. And that's how we're able to spin. That's another story. I don't want to get off track on that, but that's another story. I'm gonna try to make it as simple as I can. Positive and negative electrons will go to here. Now, gamma rays, Wi-Fi, cell phones, all the signals, including your TV signals, radio, all that, it's in what they call it, megahertz, gigahertz, and like how FM radios and AM radio is traveling in a hertz, or megahertz or gigahertz, sort of like how 3G, 4G, and 5G is coming out all over the place. That's why they call it gigahertz. You're gonna know these a lot when you starting to research about radiations or electrical signals or electrical radiations. That's how they're able to measure them in hertz, gigahertz, megahertz. I'm pretty sure you hear all these words before. I don't have to explain that to you. If you do, just Google it, or if you want to understand more, just Google it and understand a little bit more. But so what happened is, all of these particles is all over the place. Okay? When you have a cell phone, let's say if I have a cell phone right here, it actually radiates 360 degrees or whatever it is, because it has to talk to the cell tower. The cell tower will talk back. So that's what they call it, pinging. Ping. The word ping. And it's used in the computer world a lot. And they call it handshakes. Is when you send a message, it goes to the tower. The tower would send that back to you. Your cell phone has to go, hey, I received it. Okay, that handshake is over. But during that time from traveling back and forth, it's called a handshake. I actually mentioned this in one of my videos. And what happened is, when the handshake is okay, then the message will no longer display when you receive it. The message will no longer display on your phone. And that's why it is so successful, because when, let's say, you go out of your coverage zone or whatever, right? And then when you come back to the coverage zone, or an area that doesn't have a lot of cell towers and stuff, it'll go bling, and then you get a message. That's because the handshake has already been done, and now you receive the message. When you receive the message on your phone, that's the handshake is over. But during that time, it's actually trying to find you to give you that message, because it didn't complete the message, or else you would have never got that message. Get it? So that means, let's say if I'm here, and the tower is here, it could not talk to me. So the message, let's say there's a wall here and it can't get through. So it will keep going. This tower is going to keep on going until I get the message. Then it will say, okay, I'm complete. The handshake is over. You got the message. I know you got the message. And that's what they call it, handshakes. That's how they call it in the cell tower. But it's actually pinging. They ping each other to say, hey, okay, I got the message. Anyway, during all that time, there's all bunch of wasted energy. Now remember, just one cell phone only. Now millions and millions and millions of cell phones. Now imagine my dad's cell phone that he kept it when he was in college. He still kept it. His first cell phone, I think, He's kept it. And he actually recharged and he turned it on. It still works. You can still call 911 on it. Imagine. Crazy as it sounds. Anyway. So, the electrons, all these electrons are all over the place. Remember, the sun gives positive and negative electrons. Cell phones, all the lights, LED lights, regular lights, fluorescent light, everything in this life is electrons. Okay? We are made of electrons. We communicate, our brain communicate through the whole entire body through electrons. So it's all over the place, okay? So, but where does it go? What happened is, and I will explain it to you, and like I said, I will be the first one in the world to explain it to you as well. It will try to get into your hair. It will try to absorb on your face. It will try to absorb on your arms, whatever. Every day, electrons, that's how your body is actually being charged. Not only through food, because food actually have positive and negative electrons as well. And that's how we're able to gain them, but not all like that. We actually charge through our body. Hair is the number one that I've known, that I've suspect, and I think I'm gearing towards that way. Our hair was designed to attract electrons. Positive and negative will send through the hair and absorb into your body. Believe it or not, we can breathe through electron. We actually take in electron through our body, and our body process that. Some people like myself cannot process certain electrons. And that's why the electron has to be a certain amount, because the voltage in your body is so less. But because these, like I said, the cell phone's pumping out in gigahertz. That's why it's harming our body. Lower dosage won't harm your body, but higher dosage will. And that's why there's some people affected by it, and they don't even know it. But for me, like I would tell you again, and in my videos and stuff, I am aware of my body. And I chose to be aware of my body. I chose to be aware of my surrounding, and that's why I've learned so much. I've learned so much because of that. Maybe out of curiosity, or maybe I'm just crazy. Who knows, right? But hey, here's one thing that I know. If crazy people can do it, why can't I? If they're entitled to be crazy, then I am entitled to be crazy. And I am too entitled to be crazy, right? Well, guess what? I know I'm right on that one, because if you are crazy, then I am entitled to be crazy. Okay, but here's the thing. If crazy people saying the same people are crazy, and the same people are saying the crazy people are crazy, who is right? Who is wrong? If you read my about page, I mentioned that. There is no right and no wrong in this lifetime. In order for wrong to be right, right has to exist. In order for the right has to exist, wrong has to exist. But I will let you choose that on your own. I will let you decide if I'm correct or I'm wrong. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just teaching people how to defend themselves. And as crazy as it sounds, I'm not here to defend that anyway. I'm here to help. So if you don't like this video, or you don't like any part of the video, don't subscribe. Don't even bother watching. But if you are one of those people that are curious, and you know that gearing towards certain things, and it is making you feel better or helping you, then yeah, subscribe it, and maybe you will get something even further, because each time I learn something, I will put it out. But anyway, let's get back to electrons. So all these signals, remember, everything has signals. Any type of electricity, even when you put a positive and negative together, when it fuses together, even a battery would give you out signals. When it gets charged together and it fuses, those are electrical pulses. That's how they measure things. They measure through frequencies. But anyway, let's say all these frequencies are bombarded. And where does it go? Mostly your hair. And if you notice, here's another thing that I would like to add. Have you noticed? How come bald people always bald up here? Have you ever noticed that? Why don't they lose hair around here? But they only lose hair up here. Guess what? I will be the first in the world. I will explain that in another video. I will be the first one in the world to explain why those people get bald just up here. They don't get bald around here. Well, they get bald up here. Hello. It will make sense when I make that video. But anyway. So, when your hair attract all these, and your hair is pulling it in, by having tinfoil, it blocks that. Okay? Now, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. You cannot just take a tinfoil and put it on your head. And this is where the misconceptions throughout human history, okay? Throughout human history, they do not understand. You cannot touch the tinfoil. You became the antenna. So if you became the antenna, what's the point of... There's no point of putting the tinfoil on your head. If you're going to do it like this, there's no point. I will be the first one in the world to tell you that. You would be crazy to do that. And I will stand by it. But here is my concept. And here's where my concept will work. You will need a pillowcase. The pillowcase has to be 100% cotton. Okay? Please remember that. 100% cotton, or it will not work. Okay? What you're going to do is, now if you notice, I block the eye. The reason why I block the eye is that it has to go over around here. Something to do with around here. I have not understand that yet, but when I do, I probably will make another video. Here I understand. Something about here. If you ever noticed, when a person get a headache, they automatically put their wrist on top of here to cover it. Aha! Here's where you're going to understand. What happened is here is absorbing, okay? And they call it the third eye. What they're doing is they're covering it so radiation cannot absorb through there and harm this part of the brain. Now, I am not a scientist. I am a nobody. Just remember that. I just understand things. What happened is, this part of the brain, actually the most active part, and I think this is where it controls a lot of things. What happened is, when you put that wrist here, people will put a wrist or they put their hand over, all the radiation would absorb through here, so they're actually blocking it with their hand or their wrist or whatever. You've seen it all the time. And if you ever see it, and if you do this yourself, then you know what I'm talking about. So, same principle. What we're going to do is we're going to find a corner of this here. Find that corner, and you notice the X, okay? Then you take your tin foil and you're going to shape it like so. And remember, you see that part of the eye? It has to be going over that. Shape all around it so it becomes like a hat. So that way your hair and your skin will not touch the foil. Please remember that. You cannot touch the foil. If you touch the foil, no point of doing this. Might as well just don't even bother. You're wasting time. But if you want to do this correctly, you have to have this, the pillowcase or whatever. If you're skillful and you can sew like a hat looking, that would be good too. I'm not that skillful, so I can't really do it. So I have to rely on a pillowcase. But remember, the pillowcase has to be 100% cotton. Then you will need an alligator clip like this. Okay, just a normal alligator clips. I have a bunch of them. Okay, and remember the bracelet that I made, that I taught you how to make one. Okay, this part here you have to squeeze in a little bit where you can actually fit through here. You see that part? You have to fit through there. So it's kind of spread out a little bit. You see that? Now, you will use this to clamp on to the end of the foil. Make sure to be where it's comfortable when you're laying down. Okay? Then you clamp onto it. Make sure it's all comfortable so it can be okay. Another thing that you can do, and if you can make 2 of these, because they're pretty cheap to make anyway, you can actually just take the tin foil right here and at the end of something, put the bracelet inside, like here, and drop it in here and make sure it's touched. And see how it's being touched? Just like that. Fold it in if you have to, so that way it's being touched. Then this end, you will ground it. Okay, through my electric outlet right there. You will ground it somewhere. Now remember, when you do that, you have to cover this up. So you cannot touch it. You cannot touch any part of the tin foil or the alligator clip. Please remember that when you plug in. And you lay down, I want you to do this and lay down. You will see how good you would feel. Within the 15 minutes, you will start to breathe better. Your sinus will start to clear. Your head will feel lighter. If there's any headaches, it will go away. If you experience headaches all the time, more likely it's the radiation that you cannot handle. Certain people, because of their skull, because how thick their bones are, they be able to block it. Sort of like how I said before. How when people get headaches, they always put their wrist on top of here, or they take their hand and they block this part. And the misconceptions of things is they call it the third eye. Well, it's actually not a third eye. This is where your other functions and your senses. And I think that's how blind people get their senses as well. Blind people work this area. They can actually use it to see. Imagine that. Imagine that. Not only through hearings, because they're blind, their senses up here will be it's so keen that they're able to almost see out of it. And that's how blind people use it. Okay? They use the ear to process, but this is where they actually hear and see a lot of things. Believe it or not. And I can tell you offhand, if you know a blind person, or if your relatives or anything, they will know right away. You will know right away how they actually operate. If you sit and observe a blind person, you will know. Crazy as it sounds. And that's why if you see other religions, sort of like I believe in India, they would put an eye here, they would put a dot here, blah 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 blah, because they believe that it's actually a third eye. But it's actually not a third eye. It's actually, that's where your senses are. So it feels like a third eye, but it's not a third eye. You know it's not a third eye. But that's where your senses are. And that's why people block them when they have headaches and stuff. And it actually blocking, yes, actually blocking work. here's the thing. You can actually, if you got headaches and stuff, you can actually take tinfoil and cover it. But here's the thing. You cannot touch. Remember, the whole concept of this video, you cannot touch the tinfoil. Okay? And that's all you have to do. And that's how easy it is. I explained everything I could. Everything possibly can. And that's all you have to do. And that's all you have to do about grounding or using tinfoil hats. And believe it or not, tinfoil hats going to be really popular now, especially when 5G comes out. But that's all you have to do. Do that and just ground yourself. And that's it. That's basically, that's the concept of this video. So if you've seen other videos, try to see other videos too, and then put the 2 and 2 together. You will merge them together just like how here. But like I said, this is just the videos. It's about the hat and making the hat and how to get rid of headaches and things like that. Blocking things too. It actually blocks it. And at nighttime, if you can do this at nighttime, you will feel so relaxed when you wake up in the morning as well. But anyway, I'm going to end this video, and I hope it will be useful to you. And give it a try, because it doesn't cost anything. Give it a try. Right? That's all you got. But please remember, okay? Tinfoil, but it has to be cotton, or else it won't work. So make sure it has to be 100% cotton. As long as you remember that, it will work. And it relieves a lot of symptoms. It relieves a lot of headaches. You sleep better. You breathe better. I don't know, maybe other things. One person told me it's actually stopped them from snoring. But I've heard that before, but I haven't confirmed it. But anyway, other than that, that's about it on this video. And I hope they'll be helpful to you. And I hope it will help you just like it helps me. It helps me a lot, that's for sure. But that's just me. But you can try it for yourself and experience it. Other than that, that's about it. And I will see you in the next video.